Many new fragrances were launched this year, among them flanker of Olympéa, Gucci Bloom, Flowerbomb and Narciso, while Carolina Herrera launched new fragrance called La Bomba. Which ones are actually worth checking out, which ones might be right up your alley, and which ones last a really long time? Well, you will find out that and so much more in this in-depth, detailed review. As always, in the end, there will be a ranking as well, so stay tuned. And welcome or welcome back, I'm Miri, and here we talk in depth about fragrances. The first one is Olympéa Absolu, which comes in a rounded bottle cloaked in glossy black with wings on both sides, while on the front it's embellished with a crescent moon pendant, a detailing giving striking contrast between the shimmering black color and radiant gold. The design mirrors its inspiration, embodying the celestial golden glow of a goddess who thrives in the dark night on a volcanic beach. So this perfume should let your light shine even in the dark. Does it? And does it suit its very stylish all black bottle? At the initial spray, I get a hint of fruits underlined by sweetish ambery florals, even though I wouldn't be able to guess that this fruity touch is actually apricot without looking at the notes. I love the way apricot is done here. It's juicy and bright, but sweet and powdery as well. However, apricot isn't as prominent as jasmine and vanilla combo. Vanilla adds some sweetness from the start, while jasmine has a tinge of green freshness, giving luminous brightness to the scent. Imagine the sensation of drinking apricot nectar in a garden full of jasmine flowers surrounding you with their intoxicatingly sweet, bright, slightly powdery aroma. The opening is gorgeous, but the scent quickly settles on my skin and becomes much softer. Also, those distinguishable fruity florals in the opening, now they become more muted, dimmed and blurred, stepping more into a mainstream Swedish perfumey direction. Olympéa Absolu still smells very pretty, but very blended as well, because apricot melts into ambery vanilla haze with some florals. Also, jasmine isn't very prominent and it's not indolic. It supports ambery vanilla with its powdery, fresh floral scent. It has a hint of animalic muskiness, but in the most pleasing and the most inoffensive way. Amber, however, gives richness and slightly smoky warmth to the scent, but it's never too spicy or too resinous as it can be in some other fragrances, while vanilla is sweet without ever being sickly sweet, but it has somewhat faint but still recognizable salty note as a reminder that this is actually Olympéa's flanker, but you truly get just a touch of it. So the dry down of Olympéa Absolu is a seamless fusion of powdery florals and ambery vanilla with softly interwoven, fruity, salty and smoky hints, giving a bit more texture to the scent. It smells like you're looking at the sunset with jasmine flower crown adorning your peachy sweet smelling hair. Overall, this is very pretty, and what might be appealing to most, especially those who couldn't digest prominent salty marine note in the original Olympéa, is that saltiness here is only faintly noticeable and it's beautifully blended with fruity, ambery, sweet jasmine. Also, the sweetness is very balanced. It's not as rich, solar and heavy as it was in the original. Also, jasmine is not indolic. Overall, this is something highly likable, pretty, but also a bit mainstream. After apricot fades away, the original Olympéa jasmine vanilla DNA becomes more noticeable, but the original is still, at least in my opinion, more interesting fragrance. Also, I don't think that the bottle reflects how this actually smells. Based on that stunning all black flaken, I expected something bolder, stronger, more complex, but in reality this is a very pleasant composition. It's not too exciting, but it's pretty for all those who want moderately sweet, moderately strong ambery vanilla fragrance with jasmine and a touch of fruits. Olympéa Absolu might grow on me, but it's not instantly wowing fragrance. It lasted around 6 to 7 hours on my skin, but the projection is very soft and intimate, so it doesn't fit the name Absolu. All in all, this is a like. It's a pleasant, sweetish jasmine perfume. It's not as dark as the bottle insinuates, and that's why I would rate its scent and performance with 7 out of 10. Many claim that the next perfume sample I have is the closest thing to a discontinued but very loved Narciso Eau de Parfum, or White Cube as it was called, and that is Narciso Radiant or Radiante. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it comes in a delicate pastel lilac transparent bottle with a double glass design. It's made with 86% of natural origin ingredients, and it's always pleasant to see that perfume houses are committed to responsible practices. Visually, it's a very appealing, transparent, pure, simplistic but sleek as well fragrance with a very gorgeous lavender-hued flacon. But is the scent just as appealing as well? Right away, I get a very beautiful, fluffy, powdery, somewhat hazy, chalky musk, and then a few seconds later, I get white florals as well. They have a very smooth, creamy, almost milky texture, but at the same time, I get a very subtle, spicy, sourish, peppery note from carnation and clove, brightening the composition, and that clean, aldehydic, soapy, powdery floral musk, and keeping the scent from smelling too plain or too sterile. Personally, I love aldehydes because they illuminate the scent and give unmistaken brightness and bubbliness. Here, they aren't as shimmering and as bubbly as they usually are, but they give a bit of sparkle, creating fresh out of the shower vibe. Also, orange blossom adds just a touch of sweetness, but all in all, this scent isn't particularly sweet. It's crisp, it's clean, it's slightly spicy, musky floral perfume. It smells pearlescent and airy with denser components contained in the background. That's why the opening gives impression of sunlight coming through sheer curtains, barely reaching edges of your bed with white cotton sheets and softly illuminating your clean, just moisturized skin, while you can smell bouquet of lily of the valley on the nightstand. It smells effortlessly pretty, polished, and powdery in a dreamy, timelessly elegant and comforting way. But with time, that initial aldehydic, soapy floral top will lose its crisp, vibrant, shimmering character. Spiciness will also go away, while florals will become more muted, and the scent will focus more on creamy, powdery, cottony softness. Narciso Radiant becomes more gentle, while tiny bits of woodiness from the base ground the powdery musk so it never becomes cloying, too powdery or too screechy. However, that initially bright, soapy freshness is still here. It mingles with creamy, powdery, cottony musk and light woody traces from the base, lending some warmth to the scent. Together, they create an addictive scent of milky smooth Dove shower gel and clean, fresh, cottony linens with discreet scent of white petals on a woody table in the distance. This is such a dreamy, soft, fresh, and cozy fragrance. It smells clean and pure. It plays with translucent shades of white and different textures, varying from powdery chalk-like dust to soft, cottony, and milky, creamy, smooth lotion-like texture. So this is primarily a powdery, cottony, pillowy, musky fragrance with floral and woody tones perceivable, but always in a supporting role. It's beautiful. And truthfully, Narciso Radiant isn't a groundbreaking scent. It's unpretentious. It's an ideal office everyday scent with a popular clean girl aesthetic. It simply smells classy and timeless. I get about 6 to 7 hours of wear with softer sillage and projection. So it's not a loud or intrusive scent, but people close to you will be able to smell it, and even those with a sensitive nose won't be offended by it. While I was pretty underwhelmed by its predecessor, Narciso Crystal, This one seems promising. It seems like Narciso is finally going back to its roots. While Radiant isn't completely the same as Narciso Eau de Parfum, it has a bit of that DNA, but it's lighter, it's more transparent, it's fresher, soapier and milder, but it's the closest one in the current Narciso range to that discontinued white cube. So if you like Narciso's cuddly, soft, feel-good, clean, powdery musk, you will like this. I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would, and I like how it transformed from fresh, spicy floral musk to cottony, soapy milkiness. That's why I would rate its scent and performance with 7.75 out of 10. For this next sample, I didn't have any expectations. I don't own the original Gucci Bloom, and I was never a fan of its overly heady floral scent profile. So when I saw that the new Gucci Bloom Parfum came out, well, I wasn't too intrigued or even in a hurry to try it out, but I was wrong, and in this review, you will find out why. First, the bottle. It's simply stunning. It has a classic square shape all Gucci Blooms have, but this one is colored in deep midnight inky black with Gucci's signature floral design with butterflies at the front, but now in golden tones. It gives an impression of a secret garden at night glowing under golden moonlight. But how it actually smells. The moment I spray Gucci Bloom, I get a burst of spices, similar to cinnamon or cardamom, but no spicy accord was listed on Fragrantica, even though they are listed on Gucci's official website. So I will put the notes from Parfum.net website on the screen because they are more correct. So that initial burst of warm, sweet spices beautifully blends with bright, creamy, milky florals, and you get a very smooth, cinnamony, creamy vanillic opening that gets enhanced by apricot and its fuzzy, jammy sweetness, so the whole composition doesn't feel too heavy. Also, cardamom has like a touch of lemony, gingerish zest, which additionally brightens the composition. So yeah, I really enjoy this. Basically, you get a very delicious, jammy, candied apricot on top of spicy, vanillic, milky, creamy florals. The opening smells similar to sipping chai latte and eating jammy apricots spread over freshly baked gingerbread next to gentle white flowers. So Gucci Bloom starts as a delicious, spicy, slightly sweet, creamy floral scent sweetened by apricot. And spices and apricot will remain noticeable throughout the scent development, but in the dry down, they will become softer while white florals become now stronger and further enriched with warm ambery tones, giving impression of spun sugar sweetness. In the original Gucci Bloom, Rangoon Creeper was used as a floral note for the first time in perfumery, and it's used again in this flanker. I haven't smelled it in person, but from what I could find online, Rangoon Creeper smells something like white florals, most similar to honeysuckle. All in all, the dry down is amber and white floral heavy, but it has a lot of vanilla, which lends a delicious fluffy creaminess to the scent. Also, light, fruity, spicy honeyed traces act as a good contrast to woody, smoky, balsamic undertones. Somehow, that combination reminds me of Haribo candies in the shape of Coca-Cola bottles, but only slightly so. So Gucci Bloom Parfum becomes an ambery, creamy white floral scent with spicy, fruity and woody undertones. Imagine very creamy, smooth white floral petals sprinkled with spun sugar next to chai latte and fruity Coca-Cola gummy bears. This is the best I could come up with to describe its scent. It's gorgeous, and for some reason, it's really underrated. More people should talk about it. Also, if you're worried about pear balsam, you don't have to be, because this is first and foremost a very lovely, creamy, ambery white floral scent with a lot of depth. Pear balsam gives just a bit of smokiness. Vanilla gives this creamy, milky texture, and there are also fruity and spicy components as well. So all in all, this is extremely pretty. If you're like me and you weren't a fan of the original Gucci Bloom or any of its flankers, actually, you might like this one. It has the same creamy white floral DNA, but unlike in other flankers, here white florals allow other notes to shine. Additional layers of creamy vanilla, spicy smoky balsam, and rich brown sugar like amber with hints of fruit elevate white florals and differentiate Parfum from all the other flankers and the original. I really love how deep, layered, spicy, ambery white floral Bloom Parfum is, and in my opinion, this is a very successful new designer release. More people should sniff. It's great for everyday wear, for special occasions, and it's pretty versatile, easy to wear scent, so it won't be headache inducing because it doesn't have any cloying, heady florals. It lasted 7 to 8 hours on my skin. It has softer to moderate sillage, but hands down, this is my favorite Gucci Bloom flanker. Despite the heavier notes listed in the fragrance pyramid, this is super wearable, it's super likable. Also, my brother, who is not very into perfumes, he complimented me on this fragrance, so it has a compliment magnet potential. If you like warm, spicy floral perfumes, you should try it out. In my opinion, Gucci Bloom Parfum deserves 8.25 out of 10 for its scent and performance. The next fragrance might seem mismatched because its butterfly-shaped bottle doesn't have an instantly recognizable connection with its name. And I'm talking about Carolina Herrera La Bomba. The scent and the name were inspired by the explosive personality of the brand's owner, Carolina Herrera, who arrived in 1980 in New York from Venezuela, and immediately she lit up New York with her joy and confidence. She became a sensation and she brought new energy to American fashion. Because Carolina was very successful, attractive, and loud, this perfume with loud tropical opening was named La Bomba for all bombas today who don't arrive, who make an entrance with a spark. But why was the bottle shaped as a butterfly? Its silhouette and playful, rich pink color symbolize the uplifting, joyful, confident, contagious energy La Bombas bring to the room. The ad perfectly embodies that. It screams Latina diva vibe, and I love it. It instantly drew me in and almost made me buy the perfume before prior sampling it. Even though the bottle is a bit too much, it deserves some praise. Its spread butterfly wings seem like they've captured butterfly in motion. But how this fragrance actually smells? La Bomba starts with a loud, explosive burst of juicy, exotic sweetness of dragon fruit and cherry. It's so luscious, it's joyful, it's full of life. And those vibrant fruits are beautifully blended with bitter almondy marzipan, and also, I know it's not listed, but I get a hint of coconut in the opening as well, and it probably comes from creamy frangipani, but it doesn't have its usual coconutty sunscreen vibe. Dragon fruit is a rare note in perfumery, and this is one of the factors why the opening smells different compared to usual fruity sweet designer perfumes. Dragon fruit smells like a combination of kiwi and watermelon. And yes, fruity tones do smell a bit artificial, but despite being synthetic, the opening is still very, very appealing to me. Also, it's very sweet. It leans toward candy-like, even gummy bear-like sweet scent, but I do enjoy it. So to sum it up, in the opening you get the juiciest, most vibrant, flirtatious, exotic fruit fruits, cherry, bitter almond, and hints of coconut. The top of La Bomba smells like a mix of cherry lollipop and fruity Haribo gummy bears next to bitter coconut marzipan cake. Opening notes are really juicy and fruity, but also creamy and almondy. They are candy-like and sweet, but also bitter and slightly fresh. Yes, I really like how La Bomba opens up. However, in the heart, the composition changes its character into a more typical floral designerish sweet scent with fruity tropical cherry tones and some salty vanilla, softening the scent and giving very creamy texture to florals. Floral notes here are a bit undefined and obscure. What I can recognize of florals is some rose and creamy jasmine, which is probably how Frangipani is done here. Also, now La Bomba isn't as candy sweet anymore as it was in the opening. It is still sweet, but moderately creamy sweet, slightly salty and fresher because in the heart it's accompanied with a very aquatic tone. That's why the scent becomes cooler and also a bit darker, because in the distance I can smell patchouli and it becomes a bit more prominent as the scent settles on skin. So if you hate patchouli, you might struggle with the dry down. Personally, I don't mind it because it gives a grounding dark contrast to aquatic florals, sweet fruits, and slightly salty vanilla. That's why in the dry down, La Bomba smells like a mix of flowers floating on water, an exotic fruit salad served with a lot of salted vanilla whipped cream. It's a watery, floral, exotic, fruity, and salty vanillic scent with a touch of patchouli. Yeah, I like this. It's a good release. It's very joyful. It's girly. And what I find interesting is that this is tropical, but it doesn't have any pina colada vibe as it usually has in tropical designer releases. Also, vanilla is slightly salty, so it's not a typical designerish sweet gourmand vanilla. It's not something everyone will enjoy because it has patchouli. Undoubtedly, this perfume has an edge and it stands out. So if you're into fruity floral fragrances with something tropical, you will like this. The current rating on Fragrantica for La Bomba is simply too negative in my opinion. This is much better than what current rating suggests, especially because it has a good performance. It lasted 7+ hours on my skin. Initially, it's really potent and then it becomes moderately strong. Since now in Croatia is autumn, this is such a mood lifter for me. It conveys positive energy, and even though it's a bit synthetic, I don't mind it. So La Bomba is a very girly, playful, light-hearted scent. I do like it, and who knows, when the price comes down, I might even buy it. That's why I would rate its scent and performance with 8 out of 10. And the last one, in a gorgeous matte pastel pink diamond-shaped bottle accented by black Viktor&Rolf seal, is Flowerbomb Extreme. I love the design of all Flowerbomb flankers, and this one is particularly stunning. I know that some aren't very keen on opaque bottles because you can't see how much is left, but you can use flashlight on your phone to see the juice level. And also the good thing about matte bottles is that the juice inside won't get sun damaged. The packaging of Flowerbomb Extreme is definitely a highlight for me, but what about its scent? Oh, let me tell you, the opening is really delicious. It starts with a burst of raspberry, refreshed with citrusy bergamot, and very subtle tea note you also get in the original. This is such a mood lifter. It's playful, it's vibrant, it's addictive. Raspberry in here feels juicy, sun-ripened to a point of being dense, almost jammy, especially because it's sweetened up with creamy, fluffy vanilla, not sugary or cloyingly sweet, but rather creamy and soft. So initially you get a very creamy, jammy raspberry underlined by hints of the original Flowerbomb DNA, and that means that you will get hints of subtle citrusy green zests, a bit of licorice-like patchouli, and some muted florals. That's why under that fluffy raspberry vanilla, you will notice something heavier, denser, earthier, even a bit greener. But precisely that licorice-like patchouli in the background is what grounds the scent and prevents it from smelling too candy-like. So the opening of Flowerbomb Extreme smells to me like melted creamy vanilla ice cream topped with dense raspberry jam and decorated with few patchouli leaves next to a warm licorice tea. I love this. This is such a beautiful combination of sweet, fruity, and dark tones. It's playful, but in I know what I want way, and also it's initially less floral than what I thought it would be, considering that this is a Flowerbomb flanker. But that will change in the heart because the scent, well, it is still fruity, and it's primarily a fruity scent because raspberry will remain noticeable during the entire wear. But now in the heart, I can smell rose as well. Maybe because of vanilla, but that rose seems almost milky in texture, like rose milk, while white florals, they give some powdery, creamy edge to the scent. There is just a hint of citrusy freshness in the background, and initially that whisperish, soft, licorice-like patchouli becomes now a tinge stronger, giving bitter, earthy, mossy green foundation that is much welcomed here because it gives depth and it grounds the dessert-like essence of this scent. Flowerbomb Extreme never smells just girly and cute. It's a really delicious gourmand fragrance bordering on being sexy. It smells like a delicious vanilla ice cream with raspberry jam decorated with patchouli leaves next to white petals lounging atop fluffy rose milk dusted with powdered sugar with remnants of warm spicy licorice tea in the distance. I simply love how this one smells. Raspberry brightens up patchouli and keeps vanilla in check, but at the same time, there is enough dark tones to give a rich, sexy flair to the scent. This is my favorite Flowerbomb version yet, without a doubt. The original was a bit too patchouli heavy for me, while patchouli here is much lighter. It's more balanced because compared to very floral original, Flowerbomb Extreme is very raspberry forward scent with a lot of creamy, yummy vanilla, so it leans more gourmand, while the original was primarily a very floral patchouli fragrance. And yes, patchouli is here, no mistake there, but it's here in a much softer, muted way. So all those who couldn't wear the original Flowerbomb because of the loud patchouli, you should check out this version. It might be more wearable to you, and this might be something you will fall in love with because I already have. Another bonus is that you will get a full day of wear with Flowerbomb Extreme. I got 8+ hours on my skin, and it is a compliment magnet. My coworker said I smelled like a princess, like how she imagined princess would smell: sweet, creamy, fruity, a bit powdery. What can I say? I simply love this scent, and if you're into vanilla, raspberry, and you like the original Flowerbomb, you can't go wrong with this one. Flowerbomb Extreme deserves 10 out of 10 for its scent and performance. It's absolutely magnetic, head-turning scent. If you enjoyed these reviews so far and found them helpful, then book the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so this video could spread to more people. And now let's rank these 5 fragrances. On the 5th place with 7 out of 10 is Paco Rabanne Olympéa Absolu. This is the only one which is just okay and nice for me. It's an enjoyable ambery vanillic scent with jasmine and initially very strong apricot. This is very likable scent in a gorgeous bottle. On the fourth place with 7.75 out of 10 is a fragrance I didn't think I will like because most Narciso fragrances lately became a bit too bland or too safe for me. But this one is beautiful and it is Narciso Radiante. Even though it's not groundbreaking scent, it's more than enjoyable. It's a strong, like a gorgeous blend of aldehydic, soapy florals and creamy, powdery, cottony softness. On the third place with 8 out of 10, which is great, is Carolina Herrera's La Bomba, which is truly explosive in the opening. You get a ton of loud exotic fruits. You get kiwi, watermelon, cherry facets mixed with bitter marzipan and coconut. Yes, it is slightly synthetic, but delicious nonetheless. And then it becomes a nice floral vanillic scent with fruity patchouli. It is a strong, like, and the best part of it is that it makes me smile. It has contagious, joyful, flirty energy, and it is a potent fragrance as well. On the second place with 8.25 out of 10 is Gucci Bloom Parfum. This one surprised me because I'm not a fan of the original Gucci Bloom because it's too heady, too floral for me, but this one is a spicy ambery scent with milky, creamy white florals and fuzzy candied apricot. It's so underrated. More people should recommend this fragrance because it's a gem. It's bordering on love for me. So if I find it for a good price, yes, this one will join my collection. And that means that the first place with 10 out of 10 goes to Viktor&Rolf Flowerbomb Extreme. This goes straight to my wish list. It's the most decadent raspberry vanilla ice cream type of scent with creamy powdery florals and enough licorice like patchouli to give it some depth and grown-up feel. I love it. It is a long-lasting fragrance, a compliment magnet, and definitely recommendation worthy. So this is it, a detailed review of 5 new 2025 designer releases. So tell me, which ones caught your eye? Did you had the chance to try any of them? Which ones stole your heart away? Or maybe some of them were just, okay, nothing special fragrances for you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, thank you for watching until the end. Your appreciation and support means a lot to me. And if you would like to watch another review of 5 perfumes reviewed in depth, rated and ranked, then check out this video next. I will see you there. Bye!